Greensour, make yourself comfortable. Today we shall tell you a tale about Kvasir and his relation to the meat of poetry. Once Aegir invited Bragi to a feast, and there, impressed by his poetry, he had asked him, "What is the origin of poetry?" Bragi thought for a while, and then he started telling a tale. After the first war in the Nine Worlds came to an end, Aesir and Vanir came together and spat into a cauldron as a way of pledging sustained peace. From their saliva they created Kvasir, the wisest of all beings. He was so wise that no one could ask him any question that he could not answer. The Aesir allowed Kvasir to leave Asgard and travel throughout the world. He went from village to village teaching man his knowledge. Once he came to the home of dwarves, Jalar and Galar. They called him aside, saying they wished to speak with him in private, and Kvasir followed them into some room. But this was a trick by Jalar and Galar, and they killed Kvasir. The two evil dwarves slit his throat and let his blood flow into two jars called Son and Bodn, and into a kettle named Odrerir. They mixed honey with Kvasir's blood, and thus was produced such mead that whoever drinks it becomes a skald and a sage. The two dwarves sent a message to the Aesir, saying that Kvasir had choked on his own knowledge because there was no one smart enough to ask him a question that he couldn't answer. Jalar and Galar then sent out an invitation to the Jotun called Gilling and his wife to come and visit them. While Gilling and his wife was visiting them, they asked Gilling to row out to sea with them. And while they were traveling down the coast, the two dwarves rowed the boat onto some rocks, which made the boat tip over. Gilling, who was unable to swim, was drowned, but the dwarves righted the boat again and rowed ashore. The dwarves told Gilling's wife that Gilling had drowned, and there was nothing they could have done to help him. Gilling's wife was overtaken by sorrow, and she began to cry aloud. Then Jalar asked her, whenever it would not lighten her sorrow, if she could look out upon the sea where her husband had perished, to which she said it would. He then said to his brother Galar that he should go up over the doorway, and as she passed out, he should let a millstone drop onto her head, for he said he was tired of her wailing. And so Galar did so. Time passed, and Suttungr, Gilling's son, heard about his father's death and how it happened. He came and seized these two wicked dwarfs, took them out to the sea, and left them on a rocky island, which would be flooded at high tide. Jalar and Galar were scared and begged Suttungr for their lives. They told him about the mead of poetry and offered him it as compensation for his father's death. Suttungr agreed to this, and he took the mead home with him. When Suttungr came home, he hid the mead inside the mountain Hnibjord and made his daughter Gunnlod stand guard. That's why the mead of poetry has many names. It is called Kvasir's blood, or liquid of Odrerir, Bodn, or Son. It is also called the ship of the dwarves, because it was used as ransom to get them off the rocks. The mead is also called Suttungr's mead, or Hnibjord's liquid. Here Bragi stopped, and Aegir remarked that it was an interesting tale, but how exactly did the Aesir get their hands on mead of poetry? To this, Bragi smiled, and replied that this is a tale for another time. And that will be all for today about mead of poetry. I hope you like the story. Let me know what you think about this tale, and how these malicious dwarves have slain Kvasir. Come here again, we have a lot of stories to tell.